Actually, I came up with a solution for the classes that I couldn't give, or there was one I remember that I was not able to make it to. And uh, I have a recording which I have actually got a link for, and this is from my previous batch. And this was done quite well. I checked it. This is actually the link, if you can see it. Is this link available to you? The one I'm pointing to right now? If not, I can resend it. There. Just copy and paste it somewhere. It's the one that's a recording for the lecture that I give for, the topic that I think probably would be better off if you can just go through this recording, and then I can actually proceed to do few more query examples that we weren't able to finish the other day. And I would also give you kind of a overview of how the exams are going to be like, and to show you some of the practice exams and the final exams that you will have access to, so that there is no confusion um, for anyone who's planning to use it, first of all. And then there could be few other um, things of importance about the exams that I would like to mention. So that's what I plan to do today. Um, so with this link, if you can just open and run it on your side, just to check and see if it's doing okay and if it's showing the video recording. I'll also click on it just to make sure. Yeah, it's practically the same thing. Yeah. Okay. So this is was the lecture I would give to you for you to catch up with what we couldn't finish, or that was the class that I couldn't give. So anyway, this is um, you know about the research. What do we call it? We call it standard search, or the traditional research methods. That's where it's been picked up from. So this might be useful. Now, I would like to go back to our examples that we were doing previously. So let me just open that up. I think this is the one. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you can view this part, which is coming after the query number 42, um, this part, which I think is really worth mentioning, and I didn't want to exclude these. This is telling you a little bit about how some of the links or the URLs are set typically to identify with the country and the language. So if you have to, let's say, look for the information in Facebook, and this is an example coming from Facebook. So you could see that typically the way they structure the domain is that they make it mm, an abbreviation of the country on the left hand side, and then it is followed by a dash, and right after dash it is the language or the abbreviation for language. In the first one, it is the same abbreviation used for German, Deutsche or DE. So language and the country. In the second one, you could see it is Indian or Hindi. So I'm sorry, the language is on the left hand side and the abbreviation for the country is on the right hand side. Similarly, CS is for Czechoslovakian and CZ is for Czech language. And so this is kind of a convention, pretty much as people use it as a shortcut to look for information coming from that not only that country but with the kind of language that has an abbreviation also that it defines. um, I would now open up the book because I think it is described in more detail if we look up the book, and we can perhaps use the book instead. So let me open this as a single page. And okay, this is page number 237. On page 237, you could see that we were able to find out how some of the sources of information are identified with the country and the language. So in figure 17.17, this is an example of a URL that is actually giving a detail of the language and the country. So you could see that it says over here EN-US. So it is US English. If it is Canadian English, it would say EN-CA. And similarly, if you look at how the country codes are set in the left hand side, this column right under country codes versus the language codes, you could see that it is giving you very specifics or abbreviations of what is identified as two characters symbolic of that language and the country code. So if it is Mexico, it's MX. If it is Spanish in Mexico, it is ES. Okay. Netherlands NL, Dutch NL, same they're using for the language. Turkey, they're using TR twice. So if it is to be queried for this language or Turkish language, and the source is coming from Turkey, you would probably put in URL TR, and that would um, mean that your source is going to come from Turkey. Similarly, GB for United Kingdom, EN for language. So normally in the way it is written within the URL will depend on the source of URL or the domain itself, because each domain has its own structure of how it is presented or how it is formatted in the link. Uh, in Google searches, usually you could see where I'm pointing to right now. It is written as, this question mark is for query, which is telling the search to look in the section of top stories. Here we are sort of deviating a little bit from our standard query searches, just trying to get back to understanding the URL slightly better so we can optimize utility of in URL. That's why you could see that it says top stories and then there is a question mark, and HL is where the query begins. Now it is asking the search to find something in this section of top stories, and HL is going to be parsing or identifying with or declaring a value like EN for English dash GB for Great Britain. So your source of info or where the information or snippets are pulled from will be in English language, which is Great Britain. Similarly, in looking for news, top stories again, HL is equal to TR dash TR. So it is using TR dash TR because it is quite common for these abbreviations to occur. We have listed them down here. But don't get confused when TR is used twice. For example, this means that the country is on the left hand side and the language is on the right hand side, and they both are given the same abbreviation. For whatever reason, we don't have a control over that. All we can do is just see how it is set. In Chinese, it will be ZH-CN. All right. So on and so forth. Um, so if we have to query certain searches within a domain, such as in Facebook, um, like this example, for instance, let's try it out in 43. What we are doing in 43 is, first of all, zoom in a little bit more. In 43, it is saying to look for the German de-de.facebook.com. So this is the subdomain which is defaulting to German language, and you're looking for virtual assistant, um, and you're trying to find it in the using the hashtag to see if it is identified or defined under the tag of technology, and you're also looking for the tag jobs. So let's try to run this and see what happens. I better log into Facebook, I think, first. So facebook.com. Today, Tristan, I found out that the word Tristan is actually given to a very unique island. There is this island um, that is in between South America and what's that? South Africa, actually. And that is the farthest part of land uh, which is separated by water. And that's an island, just an island. So, you can actually Google it and check what's happening here. Okay, never mind. Let me just run the query. Okay, so I'm just copying and pasting the same query. And I have used the operator site because I know that DE for German or the subdomain is written like this by Facebook. That's the only reason I'm using it. Let's try this first and then we can do in URL. So when I did this, I looked up, so the Facebook, okay, LinkedIn, one result. Is coming from Facebook, but strange enough, it is showing LinkedIn for jobs. Anyway, so this is the main link, and it says Facebook Gruppen. Gruppen is actually written in German. When you are writing it in um, translating group, or the group in English is written as gruppen. Or you know that, eh? Okay, so here it is. Now, supposing I use the same search and I write here in URL, and instead of facebook.com, I just write de-de. Let's see what it's going to do. This should be fun. Got the same result, virtually the same result. Now, supposing I do, where is the, okay, let me try it from the book. So let's see if I wrote GB-EN, then what happens? Or maybe IN and HI, India and Hindi. So language and the country. I'm going to put those HI and IN. Instead of site, I'm writing in URL. Hindi, IN. So I got this one from India. I got the link from India. It's coming from Facebook. What happened? Taking a long time for some reason. Either my internet is slow today or it's not resolving it as it's supposed to. Come on. Let me close some of the extensions. Maybe it's because of that. Maybe it is the VPN. Okay. This showed up. My internet is not working all that well. Let me give you this query. Okay. Maybe you can run it on your side. If it doesn't work, I'll give it to you to run it just for me to check and see why it is taking so long. Here, Tristan, can you run it, please? Just copy and paste this and run it. Yeah. Is it running, Tristan? Okay. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but anyway, this is a correct query. But I tried another thing here. You can even, you see, sometimes the convention of how they are presenting these two abbreviations of language and the country in those URLs will depend on the site or whoever is responsible for doing the programming for those links. So what you could do is you could even reverse it, like you can put in-hi or hi-in, even that would work. See, what I did here is I reversed on how I wrote the country and the language. So I used in for India and hi for Hindi, where hi, I used after the country code in. And I used the word virtual assistant, and I got all my results coming from India. This is all coming from India. Pradhan Mantri, this is all Indian. So this is just to give you an idea that you can perhaps try to do your searches using these abbreviations, and this could be important, especially if you do a lot of researches that takes you out of the North American, uh, you know, territories. You can do that. I want to go back to the book again. Um, and I want you to know that when we talked about the internet filter bubble, I told you that depending on where you're doing your searches from, as far as location, you would find that if somebody else is doing the same search using the same browser but not being in the same country or same region, they both will get different results. And that is a kind of a bias by the search. It should ideally give the same results, but it does not. Sometimes you by design want to go out of that region and do a search, finding something, let's say, coming from Eastern European side to get a perspective of how they're presenting the story or writing about some issue or some I guess some idea that is to be compared with. You can try to get out of that boundaries of that. And for you to do that, you can try to use that language, for instance, on your keyboard, or where you can do a translation of what you insert into the search box. In the On the page 240 of the book, you could see that we looked at the results coming from writing the same search phrase, like gun control controversy, for example, and translating it into Ukrainian and then inserting it into the search box. And you will observe that the news agency changes or the source of it starts to change. You'll get more coming from Ukrainian side, or if CNN has an office or a correspondent in Ukraine, the preference or the ranking of delivering news to you with higher priority will be coming from that journalist who is representing CNN but giving a perspective of Eastern Europe, just because you used the language which is not English anymore. And if you use the same three words in English, you will get different results, or the stories might just be slightly different, or more of different snippets will appear. So that could be one approach that you can do. Second is that you can always use a VPN. That's a virtual private network, which gives you, which allows you uh, to search through servers or find a gateway in a server that is remotely placed somewhere out of this country or in another country or another region. And that would simulate as if you are local there and searching from that particular location. So that would also bring different search results. Um, so the language matters. If you look at page 240, 241, you will find this information, and it is explained with illustration, with more information about the language, or how the language influences your search results. Same thing you can also observe if you are doing searches in Germany. So this was example that is taken from doing searches in using VPNs, one from Germany and one from Canada. So with three words, the same three words, gun control controversy, in Germany gave results which were slightly different. As you could see that these ones that are boxed are different from each other. The rest was the same, but these were different. So you should know that with the VPN, it might happen. You may miss out on something. There is another thing that you can do if you want to search for certain type of info that otherwise, say, is not easily available in states, or it is kind of you know uh, filtered um, for I guess internet, for national interest, or it is defense related. Like I was doing a search for the projectiles that has to do with rocket launch and that kind of stuff. And because in North America, it is not something that one can get access to easily, there was another approach that I had to adopt to get to that info. I used another browser, which is more favored in Eastern Europe, because I thought that is that's where I can get free information, and I can get it without a lot of what you call the so there is no restriction to get that kind of research. So I used a browser called Yandex, or rather it is beyond browser, it is an internet search engine now. Yandex is more popular in Eastern Europe, and for me to do search through Yandex brought a lot more results on that particular topic. And I was able to translate, even if it is in another language. These days it's not difficult to translate that. Able to get a lot more information coming from there. Similarly, if it is a search you need to do in Chinese territory, or Chinese speaking countries, you were better off using Beidou. Baidu or Baidu, they call it Baidu. So that's another search engine which is more famous and therefore has a better collection and covers a lot more on indexing those pages, so on and so forth. So these are some of the ways that you can get to that type of research info, which is less biased, um, and perhaps a way out of or breaking out of the internet filter bubble. Okay. Okay. I think I'll have to go back to search queries. So we understand query number 43. In 44, we have used the word group in. So, if you are searching for something in Facebook, and you wanted to bring information from the word group in instead of groups, where in the URL in North America or in English speaking countries, they use the word groups. In Germany, they use the word group in as their replacement or their native in their native language, in German language. So we used in URL group in, and automatically it's going to also bring information from um, German speaking countries or from Germany. Yeah. You can even write, sometimes, you can even use backslashes, which is part of the URL. Like it could be a continuation of something which leads to a subfolder, and the backslash is what is indicating the the subfolders. You can use backslash groups also. These are just different ways of how you can actually do search using in URL. I mean, you can even put here facebook.com backslash groups. It doesn't have to be within quotation marks. Why? Because there is no gaps in any of these as words, or even between the backslash and the word groups and facebook.com. So it's going to be treated as one search term without forcing the quotation marks. It's by default a forced return. So you can go like this also. Even this would work. Now, let's look at another example, 47 through 49. Okay, I'm going to pick the query number 49. 47, 48 is somewhat similar to 49, is a little bit more extra stuff in it. So let's look at and examine the query number 49. Here we've got these three site extensions with .gov, .edu, and .org, which is fine. So any of the three is going to be the source of info. Uh, Word is search engines, but what I don't want is the result coming from Wikipedia. So one way of writing minus in URL colon Wikipedia, that means any source or anything that has the word Wikipedia in it will not be included in the search results. Without worrying about HL is equal to, right now, let's just figure this one first. I'm going to explain something here. In fact, let me just call it 47A. So supposing instead of writing minus in URL, I could even do minus Wikipedia. I could even do I could even do So what I like you to know, and perhaps a good idea to also understand that there are differences in the number of results that are going to show up if you use different blends of how 47A can be transformed, or how the variants of excluding Wikipedia can work with the word itself, with the site domain name, and with the operator site colon. So you have to, and we have dealt with this before, and I have given you a logic of understanding where the differences might be um, between different ways of writing it, even though the results would be somewhat touching on or be excluding the word Wikipedia and excluding the word Wikipedia, or excluding the domain itself, the number of results will vary. Okay. So to know the differentiator, or what could be the reason for all of these, which is 47 and 47A through B through C, what are the reasons for it? That is important. So I would put in an exam question, which is a very important question, can be asked to differentiate why differentiate um, the reasons for getting so Tristan, can you tell between 47, 47A, B, and C why the number of results might be different? I don't want to run all of these queries together, but maybe you can find time to do it on your own and practice it, or at least make an observation for me, so that on Monday I might, well, depending on whether or not you want to discuss it, but it might be a good idea, just so we can at least, exchange some ideas on, what you think, why the number of results are different. It could be a very good exercise. I'll even put it in the chat box. Okay, so you wrote it is the same thing, but actually it's not the same thing. Conceptually, it's not the same thing. I can't tell you 100% if all the results are the same, but I know there will be a variation. Um, or they could be somewhat, not a whole lot uh, difference in the count of results, but there is a difference. So that is important to know what the difference might be. This is why I wrote 47A, B, and C. Okay, we'll discover it later. We'll talk about it on Monday, maybe. Let's look at the other 48 and 49. But before we do that, you think we should take 10 minutes break? Yes. Okay. All right. Okay, got it. So let's take 10 minutes. I'll see you in a little bit. number 57. Here I'm trying to look for a section of those web pages or those websites that are selling laptops, or as a singular or a plural with the S without S here. In text, in the text part, I need the word Toshiba or HP or Lenovo, but I don't want it to bring me results from, let's say, HP.com or Amazon.com or Staples. Now, where do you get these minuses from, and how do you know what to eliminate? This part, you have to be the better judge of knowing if you want it from a certain source or not. And sometimes it is, okay. No worries, Hannah. I hope you can catch on with the recorded lectures. I, by the way, have sent a URL, a link, which you may want to look up. These are the recordings of a lecture which I thought, I could fill in for the missed class or the class I couldn't give. Um, and it would be easier for both parties, for me and for the students, to actually compensate for that class. So I'm giving you this link which covers a lecture on traditional research methods, and this is where we start with when we move to the traditional research. That's the first lecture that I would have given, but because we're trying to make it for the missed class, I'd rather give this lecture to you to look it up when you get a chance, and this would cover that class. So that's the intention. So if you can just copy and paste it on your site, this is the link. I'll also email it to everyone else, but just so you can copy and paste it. We were discussing these links that we couldn't, some of the queries we think were important and we couldn't cover the last time. Finishing that up, then I'm going to also talk about the structure of the exams and give you an overview of how the exam might look like. So we'll try that out as well. I'm doing almost, it's probably going to be the last one for us to do. So this is query 57. And like I said, we have made this query work for us in a particular situation where I'm not looking for these sources like Amazon, Staples to be included. I want the results to also come from more of local availabilities in Orlando for this laptop or Toshiba laptop. And then I use 32835, two dots with 32839 to give it the parameters of the zip codes uh, to fall between 32835 and 32839. I also I do not want the word repair or rental to come in. And this is coming from or the way in which results are coming back to me. Things that I don't want, or things that are nagging or overlapping, or something that you can do away with or rather do away with, you're going to be the best judge. So here the word repair and the word rental, this is minus repairs and then minus rental. So let's try this and see if it is going to do the job for us. We'll run it in the browser. So zero results. There is nothing wrong with the query. In-text Toshiba, in-text HP, or in-text Lenovo, minus HP or minus. Okay, so first thing that I will do is I'm going to get rid of the 32835 and 32839. Maybe these are doing something that it's not making it happen. In fact, I will even remove the word Orlando, 32835, 2.32839. I'm removing this temporarily just to check and see how I can troubleshoot this query. This way I would know what went wrong. So that's the only reason I'm taking away this small piece of information from 57. So this I took off. All right. So I'm temporarily just making a record of it, putting it here, and I'll try to run it. Now it's running. So I know that the problem was with using the word Orlando and 32835 and 32839. Now I'm going to insert the word Orlando back in again. And now see what happens. Now remember the word Orlando, I have not placed within quotation marks. So it's optional, but the first attempt of the search would be to also include the word Orlando. If it is becoming difficult, it will have the option to drop it. So now I'm getting the results as well. So it seems that the only problem with this query was the zip codes that didn't do that well. So this is one way of figuring out if your query is not doing well or if it's bringing null results. You can do troubleshooting somewhat like that. So why did 32835 and 32839 did not work? Because maybe uh, the parameters or the zip code is not matching with, or somehow it's not correlating with the Orlando, or if everything else is not within this range of zip codes. So what I might do to improve it is to put the word zip here and see what it's going to do. Again, I've made some changes and I am now going to put the word zip and use 32835 and 32839. Now let's see what happens. No results. So now if I get rid of Orlando and zip both, now it's working. So maybe the city Orlando does not have the zip codes 32835 or 32839. Maybe that was, but this is to show you that it's not compulsory that every time you write a query, it's going to be accurate. You always have to correct it, and there is ways of correcting it, and you have to use some logic and some common sense, and at times, your experience will tell. So what I did is I removed the word Orlando and I used the range 32835 and 32839. I would get somewhat better results if I just put the word Orlando here. That's my hunch. I think the zip code is too much of a constraint. Now I feel better. I'm getting much larger results, but all of them are coming from Orlando and nothing is coming from Lenovo website or HP.com or Amazon. and any of those stores, Query 59 seems to be more complicated. Mm, it says that to restrain my results to bestbuy.ca, which is a Canadian site. EN-CA is English Canada, and that is probably coming from looking at the website itself to understand how the URL is structured. So Best Buy in Canada is got a URL that has all of these together in the same sequence to show the domain followed by EN, which is abbreviation for English, and the country Canada. So assuming that it's still the same, I don't know how old this query examples are, but assuming it is correct. Um, in URL laptops, okay, so this could be the navigation in Best Buy that includes the word laptops. Um, what we want in text, which means any of the pages there or related to Best Buy that talks about review or reviews or rating. Toshiba is for sure anchor word or primary word and has to be there. HP, Acer, all three needs to be compared, for instance. So all we are forcing all three to be present. And we want something that is a price range between $500 and $650. So we've used the dollar sign here instead of numbers. If the dollar sign won't work, we'll just do 500 2.650. But like I said, these two dots are flaky these days. They're not doing a good job. However, we are going to leave this intact with the price range given, and we'll try it by running this query and see what it's capable of doing. So $500, $600, Acer, HP, and it is all coming from bestbuy.ca. Bestbuy.ca. And if I look at the entire URL, it does have .ca /en-ca. And the word review or rating or things of that sort might be there too. This is the ratings. Anyway, so you can see that it's working. Um, anyway, I think we've covered a lot of complex searches using different kinds of uh, queries. Important ones we have discussed. In fact, we've covered a lot of them. There was just this one which use around operator that we didn't do much of. So you can see queries 50 through 53 are using the around operator. And you could see that we've done this different versions of how we can put around. We have used around with the file type PDF. Okay. Around operator we can only use when we have terms on the left and the right hand side of it. Okay. So it has to be both. There has to be something on both sides. Um, and you can see that we have used around with file type as well. We can use it with other in title, and even though it is an absolute operator, but it does accept operators like file type or in text or in title and all those. except that whatever occurs, mm, uh, let's say, right, taking an example of 50, query 50, it is going to resolve only this part. Okay, it will have nothing to do directly with the file type PDF, except that the file type PDF is only telling the search to find it in a PDF files and not in HTML files. Okay, which is what is used to build the web pages. So HTML by default, all pages are HTML made. But when you identify it with a file type as a file format like PDF, it is only going to look for Mitra and Crosswell in the PDFs. Okay. Um, but what you cannot do is that you cannot put around twice. Like if you had to put around somewhat in this location, and you say there is 5, and you write it like this, it's not going to work. So you cannot use two instances of around, okay, in the same search query. Right. You can put two terms within quotation marks on either side of it and still work. What it will find is the first and the last name, which is Mark Kavami, and this is John Kish. Both of these are to be remain intact as first and the last name, and whatever else is missing in between, with the maximum of 20 words to be inserted, nothing more than 20. What 20 means is that make it like 19 words, don't make it 20. 20 is the maximum, but it somehow has a tendency to find the number of words which are, one number less. So that's out of experience. It's not written anywhere in the book, but let's suppose it's 20 right now. Along with it, we have used in URL blog and blogs. So the page that it is going to take you to must have a link that contains the word blog or blogs in it. Okay. And within that page, it will look for these two names. All right. With the number of words in between to be not more than 20, or should be 20 or less, but let's say 19 words. Okay. So these are, just similar examples, just giving you different flavors of it. That's about it. And I'm going to now save it in your class notes. Mm, let's call it version B, because we have it. Mm. So now we are done with the complex search queries. And last thing I'll do is talk about some of the ways in which we can use our um, practice uh, practice searches or practice exams rather. So let's go to the exams, practice exams. Well, we'll both test it together because I haven't tested it for a long time. So I'm going to see how we can do this. Now, in the practice exams, or when you would like to check it on your own, you will see that this is what you are given. There is a password here, which is used to start the exam. And then there is an other password that you will create for relogging, in case you want to pause the exam and come back, then that password would be something that you give or register with when we get to the site. So let's do the whole drill to get a better sense of what I'm talking about. So we start with, let's just take exam one or module one. This is the link that you begin with. And I'm going to use a different browser for it. I'm going to use Firefox because the one that I'm using has my information and it just keeps bringing the same information back. So let's suppose it is this one. So the first screen that's going to come is going to ask you to give an email address. So this is the email address that you will give separate from what you registered with, or you can even use the same email address. It doesn't matter. What it is asking for is the email address where you would like to get your results or your practice exam Q&As will show up after you finish with the exam in this email box. Okay, so let's suppose I use with m at aofirs.org. So this is what I'd like to use. I'll just enter this, do next. Now I have to create a password. This is not the password that's given to you in the one that I showed you. So let's just call it NM12345 6. Okay. So 6, 7. I think it's 8 digits that you need to give. I'm going to redo this again. NM12345 6. And I say start. Don't save. Okay, type. Then will come this screen that you're looking at. So this screen is asking for the password that's given to you or allocated to you in this document. CIRS 21175 $sign. So this is what's given to you. Now I got another screen. It says my first name. So first name and the last name. Unfortunately, this is what you have to do for the first time. After that, you will see that you can, it'll be much more easier. So I say start, and this is where it's going to start. Here it is saying that in module one, and when it says 5.0.1, this is the version of your ebook, and one is the module, which is the internet technology for the exams. And it has 37 questions in this section, and you're given 1 hour and 14 minutes. Typically, it's almost like 2 minutes per question. Okay. And that's pretty much the pattern for all 4 modules, approximately about 2 minutes per question. Some questions you can get done with in 30 seconds. So you would save time. Not individual questions are to be answered in 2 minutes. It is the entire exam that is timed and not individual questions. Okay. But like I said, if you can manage to be 2 minutes and under, you should be able to finish the entire exam. May it be 50 questions, 60, accordingly, the time is given. But the entire stretch of time is about enough that you should assume that if you are able to answer everything or individual questions in 2 minutes, you can do the entire exam without any problem and without, uh, you know, without worrying about individual questions. Some would save time, others might take little extra time, so it will adjust automatically. Now it's going to ask you to continue, and you can just press continue right here, and I'm going to start. So this is little bit about, an overview or some of the instructions for the exam. I'll just copy and paste it in the chat window. This is FYI for your information only. And when you press continue here, that's when the exam will start. So you start with the first question. These are all multiple choice questions, and multiple choice means that they give you the best answers, and at times it is multiple answers to the same question, or there could be matching questions where you have to, let's say, match something in table A with table B. So generally they're considered multiple, but they have different ways of how they are presented, or the formats might be slightly different. So here is one question, and then you can answer by reading through it. Textual treats language as a maximum. Basically, it creates sets and outside. It may treat internet search as two separate words. This will text to combine words, giving it a meaning. Formal semantics, I believe. So when you click on next after answering, and if it is an incorrect answer, it will show like it did right here. Okay, so it's not like the first time when you've answered and you press next, it's not going to take you to another question or the next question. But next means that it would show you if it's correct or incorrect. So you can mark it. And by the way, whatever the question and answers results might be, right or wrong, they will all be sent back to you in your email, so that you can look it up, correct yourself, and then keep practicing with it until you can get a lot more correct answers. Say about, if your exams you've got like 80% corrections, correct answers after practicing a bit, that means you're ready for the finals, and you should immediately attempt the final exams. A lot of the practice exams are intentionally created so that they are much closer to the final exams, or the conceptual part of it is going to be the same that you will be tested on in the final exam. So it's a good idea to immediately go to the final exam if you're getting about around 80. Okay. Next one, refer to. So this is given a choice between A, B, and C, which is A, B, and C. Refer to the image below to find your answers. So in A, where does it say exploratory? Okay, so this is the fill in the blanks now. So A, by the way, I forgot, besides multiple choice, there is some fill in the blanks also. So A should be exploratory, I think. B should be navigational, and C should be commercial. This is the correct answer. And then you're going to go to next. So this is the correct answer. And another advantage that you will find in the exams is that some of the questions may have multiple answers, or you not multiple answer, but say they would be, and I don't know if they're going to come while we are doing the practicing. So I'm explaining it ahead of time, in case you find one like this. You will find that there are multiple answers for the same questions. And if you answer your answer out of, let's say, three choices, two are correct, and the third one is incorrect, then you would be given advantage of getting the marks for the two correct answers. So only 1 point will be deducted, or that portion of that point. Usually the questions are equal to 1 point, but if it is three answers out of which you got only two corrected, so it will be one divided, would be what, three divided by one, so 33% of one, or it is a fraction of the whole number one. That is to your advantage. Mm. Anyway, I'm not here to give the full exam, but just giving you an idea. So what happens, another thing is that sometimes you don't want to go through the entire exam. Are we there still? I heard something mm, on my side. Can you still hear me and you can see my screen? Let me know if I lost the connection or not. Okay, we are good. All right. So another thing is that while you're giving the exam, doing the practice exam, or even for your final exams, you may want to pause at one point and go somewhere, or there could be an interruption, and you don't have enough time to finish up the test, and you don't want to lose that data which you have already give, or the question that you have already answered for. You can pause the exam and then you can take a break and come back. This is the green button right here that says save and finish later. So if you press this one, it is going to pause at the question where you left, and the timer will not be running at all. So lot of times there is this things about how long would it take for you to come back and continue the exam, or is there a specific time frame. So let me tell you that it is up to 3 days, which is 72 hours, that you can actually make it stop before resuming. It's not written anywhere, unfortunately. It should have been part of the instruction, but 72 hours is the maximum. And if you do pause frequently, or there is a regular occurrence of you pausing and then coming back after every second or third question, the this platform has a built-in uh, intelligence of sorts, which is going to raise the red flags for why somebody is doing that. At times, there were very few occasions when one of the students did that. Um, and what it tells the system is that someone is looking at the question, then getting the answers, coming back and resuming that way. So you know that could be the other issue that you have to be mindful of. But anyway, that's pretty much the situation with how you can attempt the exam or do your practices. But if you want to try it out on your own and sort of get a sense of how the final exams would be, you can literally assume that everything that happens in the um, in the practice exams is going to be the same process, um, the same way in which you will be timed. Everything will be the same. So it is like it is exactly how you do your practice would be the same as you do your final exams. That's you have to keep in mind. The number of questions would be different, of course, in the final exams, and they are actually given in the start of where the books has a chapter or mentions how the exams are set. You can see the number of questions that are given. I'm going to open up the book again, show you where this information is. It is in the beginning somewhere. So if we scroll down a little bit more, preparing. Okay. I think it's qualifying CIRS qualifying exam. This is the caption. This is the first module, which has got 20 questions and the duration is 45 minutes, slightly over 2 minutes. Web search techniques and online research methods, 55 questions, 110 minutes duration. And then module 3, only 10 questions and 20 minutes. and the last one is 15 questions and 30 minutes. So almost like around 2 minutes per question to be answered. Um, and you can actually give these exams at for each module there is a separate exam, and you can do these modules at different times. You have about I think you have 1 year to qualify after you've gone through this coursework, and you don't have to give all modules at the same time. You can give it at your own pace. Whichever one that you want to pass first, or you feel more comfortable with, where you got higher grades in your practice, you should try to finish that module first. So once you get done with all four, and you have gotten more than 75% in each module, you become certified, and your membership is permanent. You don't have to pay for it. You become certified member. You're listed in the members directory. A lot of people who have access, or businesses that are doing research, are somewhat um, require outside assistance, they would look up the qualified people first, the ones that have CIRS. So you know that there is always a high chance of someone giving you a call to outsource those research assignments. So any question on the exam? Okay, all good. So I think we'll end it here today, only because I have given you that link which covers a lecture of 1 hour 15 minutes, or 1 hour 20 minutes, I believe. That is what you would probably want to go through over the weekend, and let me know if you have questions on that. And then on Monday we will start with the next chapter, or the next topics, which is going to be different from the one that you will be following or looking at in the recording. And it's going to be the subsequent uh, topic, or the one which is going to cover the next aspect of traditional research methods. Um, so I would recommend to go through this one first, because it could be a follow up of this recording that we will get to on Monday. So I'm going to take off a little bit early, and let you all go back and enjoy plans for class on 4th of July holiday. Is there a class on 4th of July? It should not be, though. Should not be. Have you all checked on this? There will not be a class on 4th of July. If there is, then it will happen let me check first. So there is a class on Monday. I'm sorry, not on Monday. Let me get to the July one. July. No, there is no class on 4th of July. There is one 5th, and there is one on the 7th. Okay, so we will so do you want to take the class on the 5th, or do you think you want to push it to 6th? It's up to you. I could do 6th and 7th. I could do 5th. But what about the 3rd on Monday? Or do you think the 3rd is not as appropriate? Might be a weekend that would give you a holiday until Tuesday. I'm not sure. Can you pitch in a little and tell me? Okay. So let's just skip the 3rd. I will make these changes. And let's do, because 18th and 19th is extra classes. That's provisioned in case we are not able to finish things. And if not, then we have some recordings that I can always send you. So let's suppose for the 3rd, I'll send you the recording that you can listen to later on. And then 18th and the 18th class and the 19th class, we'll figure out on 30th, on Friday, what to do with that. Okay. So let's just when we get to the last week where we are talking about the 3rd and the 4th, we'll figure it out when we get to that. It'll be based on voting. I'm pretty much on a holiday around that time also, so I'm flexible as well. We'll make it convenient for all three of us. All right. Sure, no worries. It makes sense, Hannah. Thank you for the input. Um, it's fine. Whatever works, we'll have to we'll all agree to it later. I still have some time to think about it. So let's meet on Monday then, and have a great weekend and a safe one. I'll see you on Monday. Thank you so much. Eh? Bye bye for now. See you later. You too. Take care. Bye bye.